Well, good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. Today officially marks the 6-month milestone since Miss Nancy Guthrie was ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by a masked gunman, never to be seen again. Still, 6 months later, we're wondering what happened. And just yesterday, Chris Nanos, the sheriff of Pima County, released the most inclusive release so far in the case, including the release of the 2 ransom notes at the center of a massive debate amongst law enforcement on the legitimacy of each one. We're learning that all ransom notes are deemed fake, fraudulent, or extortions only, not going to the abductors themselves. So all of that we're getting into. And based on some of the statements Chris Nanos says, is it possible that they already have the suspect's DNA and they are now locating? Why is CC Moore and IGG involved in this case right now when we just found out that our biggest lead, the hair, was inconclusive? Let's get into it.
Bullhorn Betty
So
rocks.
come on in, guys. Sit on down, grab your beverage, get comfortable, put your thinking caps on, and let's get into it.
Coffee steaming, files on the table. We clocking early, hunt what's unstable. Bullhorn Betty on the curb, voice raised. Flip-flop queen with the homemade phrase. Notebook thick, got the screenshots flag. Names in red ink, every rumor, every tag. Late night live stream, screen glow on her face. Truth in her throat, got a lawman's pace. She don't blink when the threats roll through. Come see me, she says, if you think that's cute. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. Insane Asylum, that's our crew nickname. Laugh so loud while we track these names. Whiteboard wild with the webs we spin. Pen to pen, see the pattern sink in. Turbo shaking when the case goes cold. We stir it back up, won't do what we're told. Doorstep question, side eye stare. Where were you that night? We hanging right there. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. This for the faces on the milk cart labels. This for the families praying at tables. This for the names that the news won't say. We say them out loud every single day. Every day. If you're running in the dark, better feel that fear. Betty got a bullhorn right in your ear. Coffee club crazy, but we think so clear. One small town, whole world gonna hear. Hey! Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that the day gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we take vengeance.
Just a little slow on the draw. I'm trying to hit everybody's little buttons here. Making sure you guys are heard. Making sure you guys are heard. Good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. We got a lot of you in here. It is nice to see. I'm already getting squawked at it on YouTube because I got too much My stuff is a little too high, apparently, so I really don't care at this point. As long as I'm coming in clear. If everybody gives me a little thumbs up, a pink hand wave, or something like that in the chat, let me know we're doing good in the neighborhood. I'm glad that you are all here. Good morning, Melanie, DeBoss, Denise, Aletha, Rue. We're going to get right on into this morning's show. Terry... Let them 66, Cinderella, good morning, guys. Good morning. It's nice to see you. Of course, hello has a point to make here. No one will answer this question. And people like it, and poof, it's gone. What if the porch guy, whoever has multiple personalities? Maybe that's why the notes are weird. I can understand that, taking that into consideration. You know, we don't know how mental health will affect some of these things, and many people with normal brains may not look at this thing from the angles of maybe multiple personalities, or, you know, from a mental health, sociopathic, narcissistic lens. Multiple personalities. I'm going to have to chew on that. I'm going to have to chew on that one. Hello. I have to gnaw on that one just a little bit to answer that question. We will come back to it. And you're probably like, yep, there it is. Everybody likes it, but nobody comes back to it, right? We'll come back to it. Let me get through this, and we'll talk about that before we dive into today's show. Just kind of put that out there and see what people think, and maybe pull it. We'll pull it. That'll be what we'll do. Melanie, DeBoss, trust the process. Good morning all. It's nice to see you this beautiful Saturday morning. Let's see if it's beautiful. Is it going to rain today? I am so happy for rain. I got cucumbers growing in August. Bring on the rain. They need it. They drink water. They drink water because they're 90% water. So I need water. It's too expensive to grow cucumbers in Florida without water. You definitely don't want to use county water on your. It'd cost too much. Each cucumber would be like $5 a piece. Sonia up in the house. Our beautiful Sonia blesses us with her presence. It's nice to see you, my friend. Vicky Swan, good morning, my love. It's nice to see you. Rose up in the house. Good morning, YouTuber. I think I said hi, but I'm not sure. It's always good to cover the old bootay. Rachel, the Aussie. Well, good morning, Rachel. Alex, Adria, McCoy, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Welcome. Dee, come on in. Midwest Coffee Mama, you're in the right house. You are in the right place. Welcome to the coffee club. To the coffee club. One thing, doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, there's one thing that unites us all in the chat for most of us. Some people, they don't drink coffee. I know. We got a few of those. We won't say anything, the real me too, which is not even in here. Oh, there she is. Dad burn it. There she is. She heard it. Shh, don't tell her I said that. I think people that don't drink coffee are just weird. Karen's ready to smack me. Shannon, there it is. She's ready to smack me. But don't worry, I think people that don't eat meat are even weirder. Okay, we got somebody in the chat ready to smack me upside my head, say, Betty, now that's just going too far. I'm just joking. Do you? I can't help it. I'm a coffee junkie, okay? I don't see things in the lens of no coffee, okay? Just saying. Good morning, Lisa. It's nice to see you. Oh, Pete. Well, looky. Big hugs and love to ya. I hope you're doing well, love bug. I hope you're doing well. Welcome. I love seeing that. Diverse. It's nice to see you. Yvonne. Don. Oh, Andrea. Coke Zero. that used to, every now and again when coffee wasn't ready, that would be my go-to. We know Sonia. I think my statement spoke for itself. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. I just want to let you guys know that so far we've had 2 moderators that say they do not drink coffee. But, in all fairness, we have had Karen. We did get Karen to drink coffee. Now, by the time she's done drinking 1 cup, she's like, what do I do? Oh, it looks like she got something more than coffee. I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. I'm sorry you can't see me, but I did say good morning. The boss. My brain doesn't work without coffee. Ding, 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 ding. Did I say no, I'm just, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Everybody's going to be smacking me like Betty. This is not how you build a channel. You don't build a channel insulting people that don't drink coffee, lady. Yeah, well, I am the love machine. Just saying. Got a shirt. Got a couple of them, as a matter of fact. Good morning, Diverse. Jason, YouTuber. Yvonne, good morning. I think I said hi to Aletha, Deanna. Coffee when I have no Coke Zero. There we go. Okay, so we have Coke Zeros. Where's my applause? I don't want the little applause. We don't need that. Hey, Skybell, Cat Lady. Good morning. Sig, good morning. Good morning. So come on in. I mean, our head. How many people's heads are spinning right now over the new releases of Miss Nancy Guthrie? Like, my head's spinning. I'm looking at this stuff and I feel like, you know what? It's so funny because I look at this stuff and I feel like, okay, what's the secret code? What are they trying to prevent us from knowing? Like, my head's going overtime and I need to step back. I'll be going back to bed in 30 minutes. Okay, hello. Let me get up to your statement. Okay, let's talk before you go to bed because you were here. I want to make sure we talk about you. I want to make sure we talk about you in front of your face before you go to bed. I'm just joking, but not. So, okay. So hello. Let's talk about this one aspect before hello has to go to bed. Sorry guys, I have allergies. I did not take my medicine. I haven't taken my medicine in 2 days. I don't know why. I've been so busy. But hello has this very specific question, and we might bounce back and forth through it throughout the show because I thought it was kind of interesting, and it's something we don't look at. I mean, it is mental health. It would be lower on the totem pole of probabilities, but it doesn't mean that it's completely off the table. Excuse me. It doesn't mean that it's completely off the table. So according to Hello is asking whether it's possible that maybe a mental illness like multiple personalities might be the explanation of why we have such crazy ransom notes. And yeah, that could be plausible. And I have to think, even though I didn't think about this, I mean, just to let you know, I didn't, in all honesty, right? We're all here. There's no point in lying, right? We're all here to help a case. So honesty is the best policy in my book. And it's something I didn't think about. I didn't equate. I didn't look in. I didn't play the tape through, so to speak, on this angle of the ransom note. Could this explain the possibilities of why it's a polar opposite from ransom note 1 to ransom note 2? The answer is yes. I could definitely see that maybe it would affect but I don't know, even if it's multiple personalities, would the full speech pattern change as well? I would think that we have to understand multiple personalities on a more knowledgeable level. I think we might be a little too ignorant for specificity of your question, but generally I would say yes. I think that anything that affects somebody's mind, could we have 2 polar opposite letters from one another? And the answer is, yeah, I think we could. Does that mean that's what we have in this case? Now, that's another question all on its own, but the question presented is, what if the Porch guy, whoever has multiple personality, maybe that's why the notes are so weird. Good point. And yes, the answer for me would be, if we were looking at, could it give the weirdness of the notes per your word, The answer is yes. I think so. I think that anybody that has multiple personalities or any type of mental defect, I definitely believe could potentially, because we don't understand it, one, and two, I've seen people with schizophrenia, and I got to tell you, it's freaky. It's a little freaky. So, I'd have to say yes. Mental illness is an issue. We know that it is in this country, and it's running rampant. Would somebody mentally ill be making these type of preparations and planning for a lady with multiple personalities? I don't think. I think this is too highly skilled, too well planned, even though the guy's not a professional, in my opinion. I think that if somebody would be, I'm just playing it through and giving you some other answers to that, but I guess the long and short answer of it, without going over too much, is yeah. I guess it could potentially make something appear a lot weirder. Yes, I think so. On a purely logical level of explaining this, yes, I do. Okay, so let me go through here just to make sure we don't miss anybody else. Wow. People with multiple personalities fight in their own minds all the time. It's not a movie. Yeah, and I understand that. And I kind of have a granular understanding, or maybe a bird's eye understanding of like multiple personalities, but the nuances of it, like would it alter a speech pattern from one personality to another? Would it alter the way the mind, even though they have different personas with multiple personalities, would those personas theoretically have a speech pattern change, a physical speech pattern change? Again, not sure if I know that. I don't know if these questions are, we can give you an opinion, but I don't think that the opinion we get is going to be saturated in education and an educated response, because I've got no real education on all the nuances of multiple personality. Much like we didn't have a lot of education, we were very ignorant with autism until we got involved in the Sebastian Rogers case, and then of course we had a lot of families that came over and. They actually help because they have children or grandchildren that are autistic, and that many people in my chat with autistic family or friends. It really did give us a large overview of the different nuances with autism. It got us a lot more educated for people like me that had no education, and we've heard of autism, but we didn't understand what it truly was or what the spectrum was. I'll give you a prime example of what I knew, at the beginning versus what I now know. When people were talking about overstimulated, like I thought that if somebody was overstimulated, that they would just be like, be completely wiped out. Just by the way it sounds, overstimulated. You would think if you're overstimulated, you're going to be wiped out. And come to find out, that was absolutely the opposite. When you're overstimulated, you actually ramped up, and you behave a lot worse than that child or person would normally behave because of the overstimulation. So very much an ignorant thought, mind process. But as we learned about autism, we got a lot more educated. When it comes to multiple personalities, unless we go down that road, I don't think we're going to be very educated in that. So I think maybe you might want to, Casey Jordan, she is a criminologist, I believe it is, or a psychologist, or I can't remember what her actual. I think she might be the one that would be best suited for this questioning, because I think she would be. She has the knowledge of multiple personalities. I'm just saying, if you really want to get down to the granular, I would look up Casey Jordan's email and send her that question and see what she says. I might actually do that. Let's see. I just talked to myself. Nothing wrong with it. No, I'm just joking. Hello. I'm just joking. Deanna, thank you. Coffee when I have no Coke Zero. It's Coke Zero when I have no coffee. See the difference? Good morning, OG Jitterbug. Coffee is my life. It is. This is crazy. It's crazy that the brown stuff got us hooked. Like, what? Good morning, Betty. Happy 2-year birthday. I'm singing another birthday today. This is a BHB birthday. Yay. Yay. Love and prayers, Betty and all the Coffee Bean family. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's so sweet. And Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Melanie thank you. And Cat Lady, thank you for the floating heart. Thank you for the floating heart. And it's because I'm a love machine. Ow! And whoever got that gifted membership, because I'm on a different panel, so I can't see who got it. I will congratulate you personally when I get on that page again. But welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the insane asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much, Veronica. Now we got to get the happy birthday. We're singing happy birthday. It's a Bullhorn Betty birthday. Bullhorn Betty, 2 years. She's 2 years old, y'all. It's her second birthday. It's her second birthday. We love you long time. We love you long time, Veronica. I need to stop. People are going to start beating me up for that. All right, guys. We have a BHB birthday up in the house. We're going to sing her happy birthday. Veronica, this is for you, girl. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Veronica. Happy BHB birthday to you. Rocking around. No, just I love the echo. Hello. Can you hear me? I'm here. No, okay, I'm done. Happy birthday, Veronica. There we go. We get our echo off. I have a little fun every now and again. Veronica gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the insane asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room, because I'm a love machine. Ow! Hello says, love you, Betty, chatting mods, and the goat. Got the goat in my service truck at work. The screaming goat. There it is. When I first got that, I swear it was right after, it was when we were doing Sebastian Rogers. It was when we were covering the Sebastian Rogers case literally daily. And Justin For All had these little chicken skits. And he's like, Grease! Grease! Like these chickens. And so when I got this screaming goat, I called Justin. I'm like, don't lie to me. You're a sound model, aren't you? And he's like, huh? I'm like, that sounds like your voice. That's what I told Justin For All. I'm like, that sounds like your voice. I said, you're a sound model, aren't you? I think I could have gotten it for free. I'm just saying. No, I'm just joking. Kind of, sort of. Oh, kind of, sort of. So let's get back to the main the main topic here, guys, thank you all for everybody that participated this morning. It's lovely, lovely, lovely. But we've been covering Miss Nancy Guthrie. Oh, Arizona Raven, please tell me you slept cool. Please tell me you slept cool, because I got to tell you, I had a hot flash early this morning. I'm like, woo-hoo-hoo. This must be what Arizona Raven's going through. I was feeling your pain. I got like 3 of those noisy thingies. I don't need any more buttons. Plenty of noises. I bet you do. With all them youngins. Oh, good gracious, good gracious. Oakley, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Silver Fox, he's taken Texas. I'm just letting you know he's taken. Good morning, good morning. Okay, so let's get Nana and Stacy. Good morning, happy Saturday. It's nice to see you. So let's go ahead and get started. As we know, we had the biggest news released yesterday, which was nice because, you know, I don't think we understood how detrimental the day before, you know, we were all like, rah, 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 oh my gosh, we're getting some news, you know, all these things are going on, something's about to break. And, you know, Brian Enton is in Arizona, you know, Ashley Banfield's talking about the case. We've got Megyn Kelly starting to circle back to the case. You got all these things going on. You've got, you just got a lot of moving parts, and we're like, what's going on here? And like 603 Trainwreck is like, there's something about to break. There's something about to break. And we're coming and approaching the 6-month mark, and we're hoping that something, but I don't think I was anticipating Chris Nanos making a move to get us more information, including that FBI profile aspect of the assessment out, because we've been asking for that profile, and you know, Jennifer Coffindaffer has been asking for that profile now for, I want to say, at least 30 or 45 days. She's been really pushing that we need the profile. The profile needs to come out. We need to start focusing more on the suspect and less on Nancy. I mean, we need to have Nancy on the billboard. Like, she was back and forth. I don't want people thinking we're taking away from Nancy, but she was basically saying, you know, we're not looking for Nancy, so let's start looking for the suspect. You know, why isn't the suspect on the billboards? Why isn't the suspect being on everything and stuff like that? Everyone is back on the case. I don't see anything. Yeah, we're all back on the case. I mean, again, we were getting Nancy Guthrie fatigued because we didn't know what was going on, and a lot of people were speculating, and it's very hard daily to try to keep those speculations in check to make sure they don't grow legs and you know, start walking and talking on their own, especially if they're speculative in nature, not factual. We had very limited factual information, and the factual information we do have, it's been clouded. It was confusing, to say the least, because Chris Nanos was making it very confusing for us. So this is the first time we've had more concise and consistent statements for everybody across the board, and I appreciate that, because it's stuff like this that clears up stuff. Now, it's not going to stop the speculation on it, but at least we're all getting the same information at the same time to be analyzed and dissected, right? And I really want to caution you, they're still not giving us everything, right? We know that they're giving us the bare minimums. The bare minimums is what is in here. So that gives me a little more hope than I originally had, right? If this is the bare minimums, yeah, they don't really have, and I'm still skeptical that they don't have anything. Because there was DNA that we're learning about that is being IgG'd, and so far has not everybody that the hit could potentially come back to in this, so they haven't gotten down to the person. Those people have been cleared, even though Chris Nanos on the one hand says, you know, nobody's been cleared. And again, the question is, was that a misspeak, or is he putting the Guthrie family back into the hot seat on this case? And maybe the reason why he cleared them is because they were absolutely adamant that the ransom notes were legitimate. I think this is we're going to have a Koberger effect here. I think that the person that ultimately did this And we don't know why. We'll find out once that person is captured. But I believe the person is going to be somebody in left field. I'm even going as far as, even though we're looking at that Luke, and that's somebody that I'm eyeballing myself. I like my gut, like in my gut, I believe that we're going to be shocked that it's not even going to be Luke. It's not even going to be Luke or Carlos. Like I'm feeling like, we're going to have a shock. It's going to be kind of like this, what type of moment. I feel like it's going to be that Koberger moment we had when we found out who was arrested in Pennsylvania, and how crazy that whole thing was. Everybody, I remember going to that house, and I remember immediately the first time I looked at that house, it was freezing cold. It was 17 degrees in Idaho that day, maybe 13 degrees. I can't remember. It was cold. It was cold. It was under 20 degrees. It was cold. It was freezing. It was literally freezing. And I remember getting out and walking around the house and just looking at the outside of that house. And there was just something when I went to the back parking lot and I went to this one area where you could park your car and literally get out and stand or even sit on your hood. And it gave you a bird's eye right into their sliding glass doors, which is where he went in. We found out, not through the windows. If you guys remember, originally I thought it was the windows. There was a concrete block, and it makes me wonder if he tried to get into that window. That would have been Brittany's room. Was that Brittany's room? Yeah, that would have been Brittany's room. That would have been Brittany's room. That window screen, concrete block. That would have had to be Brittany's room, in my opinion. Good morning, Popcorn. It's nice to see you. But at the end of the day, in the backside of the house, there was a spot where somebody could sit right there in the pitch black, because I was there at night, and nobody would have seen them. Nobody would have seen them. Even people driving and going in and out would never even have paid attention. They wouldn't even have known. He could have literally sat there for hours watching the back of that house and seeing everything going on. Bethany, thank you. Bethany's room. Does anyone think there is validity to that post? Which post? Are you talking about the ransom notes? I've never thought the ransom notes were valid. The blood skid down the block was so terrible. What blood skid? I didn't hear about a blood skid down the block. Miss Cindy, good morning. Good morning. All right, so let's listen to what we got here for Brian Enton. This is going to kind of kick off some of the conversations, and then we'll circle back. Let me just give us the intro coming in. If you guys are unfamiliar, do I have Miss Nancy Guthrie? Did I not put Nancy Guthrie on this? Maybe I didn't. So Miss Nancy Guthrie, let me take this one off and put Miss Nancy Guthrie. I want to see Nancy Guthrie's face. There we go. So Miss Nancy Guthrie is an 84-year-old grandmother ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by a masked gunman to never be seen again. And that happened on February 1st, 2026. And now that we're at August 1st, 2026, today marks a stark reality, the 6-month milestone of Miss Nancy Guthrie's abduction. Where is Nancy Guthrie? What happened to her? Who went into her house? And the biggest question, why? We just got the biggest release from the Pima County Sheriff that we've had since the beginning of this case. Very clean, very consistent, and filled with a lot of information to dissect and go over. One of the biggest parts of this case that has plagued this case from the beginning is this multitude of ransom notes, extortion attempts to the family. Extortion attempts that I didn't believe existed because of what was going on in the case. In my opinion, it's very uncommon to have ransoms. Yet here we have a potential ransom. No one has mentioned the Grand Canyons. Thank you. Thank you for all the prayers. Thank you, Betty, as well. Absolutely, Aletha. We hope your mommy gets better. Very sorry that she's hurting like she is. I know it has to be very unnerving for you. But we get these ransom notes, and the one thing that's very, very clear on its face for me, maybe not for a lot of you, but for me, is that they're bunk. They're bullshit. They should have been known to be bullshit. Law enforcement spent way too much time on these ransom notes, and I want to know why. And I'm starting to believe it was a distraction. I felt like as long as they were publicly putting interest in these ransom notes, that we were catering to those ransom notes instead of looking elsewhere. They were tying us up. They were keeping us busy while they were trying to investigate, which is a great strategy in many cases, if that truly is what they were doing. But from the hindsight looking back, that kind of seems to be what I'm seeing. We learned. I had a little birdie. Come to me like a month ago, and I wasn't sure who this little birdie was, because you don't know these people, right? People can reach out to you and say whatever they want. But one thing I was told is that the task force has diminished significantly from what the task force originally was. So I put that report out that the task force had diminished, and I even put the caveat, this is from a birdie. I don't know if this birdie is being truthful, right? And I'm hopeful that by me putting this out, that maybe somebody higher up the food chain, like an Ashley Banfield or Brian Enton, will pick up and, reach out to their, secret sources and find out if it's true. And I even said it just like that. I have a birdie. I don't know if this birdie is true, so maybe we can have somebody that has a little more, has people that they can talk to, can find out. And then Ashley Banfield, like a day or two later, said that there's nothing has changed in the the amount of people working this case in that task force. And I'm like, well, and I told my audience, well, this is what she said, but my birdie's very adamant that the task force is diminished. And while we weren't able to have the conclusion of that right then and there, we just learned that, in fact, there's only a handful of agents still part of that task force from Pima County. So my reporting was right. That means the little birdie was right. And so the little birdie came back again, and that little birdie was a little more rigid. So I don't know who this birdie is. And basically, was going off about how law enforcement are not idiots. And yes, they were very aware that these ransom notes were more likely not realistic, not real extortion attempts, all of them, as opposed to them being legitimate. Why they kept defaulting, I never got an answer. Why we spent 6 months on these things, I never got an answer. It was kind of I don't know if the little birdie will visit me again. It was kind of a more contentious, back and forth than I would have liked it to have been. I'd like to maintain those relationships if I get them, but I didn't know at the beginning whether or not it was a legitimate person or tip. But we're finding out it was. But at the end of the day, I want to know about these ransom notes, and I want to know why we were basically played for months. And every time we turned around, they would run back to the ransom notes, and I just couldn't understand it. And then I'm being told in hindsight that, they knew this. They knew that this was most likely going to be the outcome from like months ago, and yet we're here. I mean, it rubbed me the wrong way. I won't lie. I got a little, I got Betty. I mean, what do you want? I'm Bullhorn Betty for a reason. So my patience, I got none. Ask poor the real me too. When I'm perfectly fine, but when I have to, and something frustrates me, I'll spend my 5 minutes on frustration, and then I'm like, just the way I am. Just the way I am. Did you just write something else, hello, that I missed? Hold on, let me go over here and see if I missed you. Did I miss you? No one has mentioned the Grand Canyons, and thank you for all the prayers. Okay, so I got those. Let me just put little hearts on those. Thank you, by the way, guys. We appreciate all your love and support this morning. I'm not joking. I I have to apologize a lot because every time I'm on the road, there's always something frustrating. Something breaks, something. It's always something. It's always something, and I'm like, I can handle it for a little bit, and then it's like, okay, we just need to get this done. Like I can't do it no more. Like let's get an answer here. Who's doing what? So it is. It just is what it is. I think the whole thing is BS. Me too. Me too. Buckshot Bobby. Very saddened for her family. Can't imagine the pain they feel. Amen to that. Amen to that. I can't either. I don't necessarily agree with everything that they've done since this case, but there is no book that tells you how to handle your life and how to do stuff. But we do expect a little more. But this was a really weird case because stuff that we would perceive as being guilty mind or red flag was acceptable in this case. And I'm not criticizing. I am kind of criticizing a little, but not like I don't want to sound like a I don't want to sound like a horrible person, because I do, like, just like you said, I'm very saddened for her family and the pain that they're going through. But I wish they would have done more. Like I wish they would have sponsored missing person flyers. Would it have helped? I mean, we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. But I also know sometimes, we have, I think in society, we have fight or flight mechanisms. And I think that some of us out there are just more alpha males and alpha females. But we have to remember that we all have a fight and flight mechanism in us. And maybe theirs is just more flighty instead of fighty. I feel like they could have had a little more resources in here. I just don't trust Pima County, everything that we've learned about them. And it's kind of shocking that they kind of do, unless they are getting the reassurance of the FBI. I don't know what's making them so comfortable just to let law enforcement handle it, And in many cases, I love law enforcement. I really do. If it was here, you wouldn't be here. Like if this case was right here, my mom talks to the birds too. Oh, well, my mama talks. Oh, I'm just joking. My mom's going to smack me. My mom's going to smack me. Never too old for a whipping. But nothing to do with a family. It's getting our minds off what's going on in the world. Maybe. There's no doubt the family is going out of their mind. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, at the end of the day, this is, the family is a good family. It's a normal family. And you got to think of that. I mean, I know that Savannah is polarizing and in the spotlight and stuff, but at the end of the day, that's her mom. That she had it's not like her mom was a bad mom and she had this horrible relationship with her mom and then she wakes up one day and her mom's gone and it's like, okay, I mean, she loved her mom. And just like many of us, I'm pretty sure we all work a lot and don't get the opportunities to see our moms as much as we would like to. Or even like me, when my mom comes over to visit, I never stop working. I'm working all the time, and I try to, carve out some time for my mom, but those are, we're always working. And if something happened, God forbid, to my mom, I would be out of my blessed mind. Like I would be going through all the times I could have taken time off and visited, you just go through all those woulda, shoulda, couldas. And it's so detrimental mentally to yourself. So she loved her mom. There's no doubt about that. What she is going through is got to be difficult. But you know what? If this truly is, and I'm, I could be wrong about a lot of this stuff. I think I might be wrong about the whole purpose of January 11th, according to the press release that was released yesterday. The way the statement says, I mean, it pretty much implies that my theory on the 11th, it could be completely wrong, that maybe he was there 3 weeks before. But you know what? Maybe not, because listen to this. Didn't we hear about a January 24th potential date too? That we've never talked about again? Didn't it go the 11th and then to the 1st? And then wasn't there some somebody saying something like, wasn't there a rumor that there was a video that shows him there even on the 24th that we never got? Do you guys remember that? It was many months ago. It was like back in March or April. Like, I remember this little sliver of somebody talking about January 24th, and it's what brought our theory up that this guy is only coming in this area on the weekend, which gave us the theory that he probably has a normal 9-to-5 job Monday through Friday. And we even went through what jobs would be Monday through Friday, because obviously clerking a convenience store is a 24/7 job and not specific for weekends. But this person seemed to only show up on the weekends. And, maybe I remember the 24th. I don't know where that just popped up because we haven't talked about it for so long. That's the only thing I can think of, is that he came back because they didn't specify. Let's read this statement that I have that has been bothering me. I might have to get my glasses on here. No, here it is. Because they don't specify what day it is. Maybe I'm assuming it's the 11th, because if that person came the 24th to prepare that house for the 1st, that would make sense. But I remember we heard about the 24th somewhere. But I don't know in what context. I just remember it. Yes, I remember that. Yeah. So listen to this. Because I was really excited that it looked like they might have the video from the 11th. But it says 2 videos recovered from Nancy's doorbell camera may be from 2 separate dates. And because this was the same language that they used when we found that one screenshot on Kash Patel's X account of the assailant, this was an assailant. Oh, good gracious, I got sorry, I'm sitting on my jacket here, or my throw. The wheels keep catching it. Because this is the same language that they kind of used to explain, was there a time it was only something that was referenced. And I remember hearing about it because I remember thinking, well, was it the 24th? Let me look at what day the 24th was. I feel like I remember there being a news cycle, but it quickly dissipated. It was like it was a news cycle for 2 days, and then it just went away. So it made me believe that it must not be legitimate, that somebody must have made that up. But, reading this, and it doesn't specify, because I just came back and confirmed, it doesn't specify the 2 separate dates that, it may be from the 11th and the 1st, or the 11th and the 24th. But it's this one section where it says they indicate he took steps. These 2 videos, so that's incorporating both. Both these videos indicate he took steps to prepare for the event on the night of the 1st. So wouldn't that imply these 2 videos are not on from the 31st? Does he have 2 separate dates? Oh my. Now let's read this. 2 videos recovered from Nancy's doorbell camera may be from 2 different dates. 2 different dates from February 1st. I think that's what they're referring to. So maybe they have video from the 11th and the 24th. And these videos are critical in understanding the identity of the male's behavior and choices. These 2 videos indicate he took steps to prepare for the events on the night of January 31st and February 1st. So if those 2 videos from 2 separate dates, if they indicated he took steps to prepare for the event of January 31st to February 1st, that would imply he is not referring to either of those videos being from January 31st into the 1st, right? That's the answer right there. I think they have 2 separate videos. not the ones we've seen from the first. Remember, I told you that I heard they got all the videos. And this was back in April, the end of April. I remember saying I read an article or a report. I can't remember if it was in front of the scenes or behind the scenes. But I read a report that indicated their search of the cameras was complete and they've recovered all the videos. And I remember telling you guys that for quite a while. They skipped right over it. But that would imply, now that I'm reading this, there are two separate, this is the way I'm reading it now. I'm reading it now that there are two separate videos recovered from Nancy's doorbell camera over and above the February 1st Porch Guy video we know. You know why? Because they're saying that those videos indicate this man's behaviors and choices, but they indicate that he took steps to prepare for the event of February 1st, unless one of those videos was from earlier in the day on the 31st. But the way that they're writing this, it seems like those two videos are from two different days other than January and February. Let's read it again. Two videos recovered from Nancy's doorbell camera may be from two separate days. These videos are critical to our understanding of the unidentified male's behaviors and choices. Let's take that sentence out. Okay, let's read it like this. Two videos recovered from Nancy's doorbell camera may be from two separate days. They indicate he took steps to prepare for the events on January 31st and February. That does not sound like these videos are from February 1st. Let's do a poll, ones or twos. How many of you guys believe, now that we're reading this and analyzing the verbiage on here, and I don't care if you changed your mind, but I want you guys to tell me with ones and twos, do you believe these two separate videos are from dates other than the date she was abducted or the time she was abducted? One is yes. You believe that these are other than the time she was abducted? No. You believe that this was probably from the day she was abducted. So one, other than the day she was abducted. Two, the day she was abducted. Please poll yourself in the chat right now. How many people do we have in the live this morning? I haven't even checked. Oh, wow. We got 354 people. This will be a great point for me to stop and say, if you guys have not subbed up for the Bullhorn Betty show, please consider subbing up. We go through, we analyze these things very thoroughly, like we're doing right now, and try to make sure that our audience truly does understand that. The best way you can help this show grow is hitting that thumbs up button. If you'd like to do more, we love it. We're not going to stop you. It is not expected by any stretch of the imagination, but I promise you, we definitely appreciate it here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, let's look at our polls so far. So, grave crime with Gray. You're hiding. Look at Mama Bear's up in the Casey. Well, hello, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, Grave Crime with Grace. It's nice to see you, Veronica, YouTuber. Everybody's in here. So, looks like a lot of people believe these are from two separate dates, other than the date of abduction. Oakley's, I don't know. We got a few in here saying no, these are from the day. These are from the day. Thank you, Mustang. But the majority of our audience, not sure. So we do have a majority. I think the twos and the threes, the from the day or just really truly don't know, is about the same. Lloyd, thank you. Don't know. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you. Thank you for participating. We appreciate you. We appreciate you guys. So there we go. Because yesterday I was reading this and I was thinking, okay, this must be the 11th, and maybe my theory of the 11th might be wrong. You know, maybe he did go there, and I kept processing and I'm like, man, 3 weeks? 3 weeks before you're going in the house, you're going to go there and prepare. And I'm like, who does that? You know, That's what I've been saying, on this case since the beginning. Like, I feel like that's like we need a shirt that says who does that, at this point. Sonia? Sorry. I feel like that is like the thing. Like, this case is so freaking bipolar. Good gosh, we're up and down, we're up and down, up and down, up and down, and then when we get information, we're up and down, up and down, up and down. This is insanity. This is freaking insanity. Okay, now that I'm done having my meltdown. 701, good morning. It's nice to see you, Janet. Little Orange Man, good morning, Mama. Oh, all the crew. Popcorn, Frank it up. It's nice to see you, Lori. Good morning, good morning. Let's see if we got anything. I don't know how to fix these problems. Maybe a YouTube glitch. I've logged out. And what's going on with YouTube? Maybe logging out and logging back is the way to do it. Sometimes refreshing, because I don't know if anybody else is having problems. You know what? There may be some glitchy stuff, because I am getting that I'm spiking my bit rate. I don't know why it's saying that the stream current bit rate is 4468, and it's higher than the recommended bit rate. The recommended bit rate on YouTube is 6,000. I don't even push 6,000. I try to reduce it as much as possible. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Maybe they're just maybe there's too many people on this morning or whatever. I don't know. But how many people are having some technical issues in chat? If you guys are having technical issues in chat, put a pink hand up, and we can refresh the screen, but it'll take about 10 to 15 minutes. Renee, good. It's nice to see you. Lazy Days, there's no timestamp on 111. I think they're speculating due to a couple neighbors of Nancy's. No, that's what we thought originally, because Chris kept walking it back and saying, we don't know what date that came from, but he ultimately conceded months ago that still that we had with the guy in the, without the backpack or the gun was from the 11th. He finally did say that still image came from the 11th. But even after that, we had heard about this January 24th. Oh, that's what I was doing. I was looking at my calendar to make sure that's the right date I heard, because the 24th should fall on a Saturday. If I have the right date that was used back there, it should fall on a Saturday. So let me just see. February 24th is the Tuesday. So that Saturday before. Oh, no, January 24th. Yes, January 24th is a Saturday. It's a Sunday. The 11th was... No, the 11th, January 11th was a Sunday. And January 24th was a Saturday. And the 1st was a Sunday. So it was Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. But the 24th, the preparations on the 24th, in my opinion, if that date is true, because we heard the 24th, and I looked at February 24th, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's on a Tuesday. And then I looked over at January, because it's January 24th. February 24th, she was already gone. So January 24th falls on a Saturday. It falls on a Saturday. So I don't know. We've never heard the 24th other than, okay, I missed that. I heard the 24th. It was a Saturday. Yeah, I remember hearing the 24th, always Saturday going into Sunday. Yeah, that was it. That was it. Except the 11th. The assailant showed up the morning of the 11th. And the neighbor was getting ready and saw this guy in street clothes with his hat down. And then Pretty Little Clues, one of our audience members out there, sent me this image of this guy with a hat on, and then I started realizing why that image in front of the door. So I was hopeful that maybe they have the facial image of this man, from the 11th, because we believe he was just wearing a hat. He wasn't even wearing a mask, a ski mask on potentially. So. Sonia's getting numb, y'all. We got 379 people in here this morning and only 153 thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up, folks. Hit that thumbs up. So very interesting stuff. Now let's go back to Brian Enton and see what he has to say now that we got through that.
Yeah, Blake, I think the timing is interesting. Look, we already knew most of the contents of these notes, but it's interesting that the sheriff's office is releasing them officially now. There's also been questions with.
I believe that they are releasing them now because they are officially no longer related to the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. I believe that because, like I said, I had a heated conversation with somebody, and that heated conversation was they're not stupid, and of course they've known for a while that these ransom notes are bunk. And so we started reporting that, and we started reporting that with very much clarity, and then all of a sudden it looks like they are conceding on that's the only thing I can think. Granted, they haven't verbally conceded on the ransom notes, but you can see them, if they're releasing them to the public, then they have no more evidentiary or integrity to the investigation factor, right? Because they were wanting to keep those under wraps because those had details that only the abductor would have known if he truly did author those. So for them releasing that, and us finally knowing exactly what was said in those letters, then yeah, we have, there's no evidentiary, in my opinion, there's no more evidentiary value at that point. If they're releasing them to the public, then they're done with what they needed them for. They, keeping them under wraps, they're done with that. So I for me to get a birdie telling me that they know these ransom notes, and then all of a sudden, so I truly believe that they're releasing these because they finally probably all agreed that, okay, we've exhausted this lead. These are right. And I think that's why they've now released them to the public. If we can find the people that authored those, they want to put them in jail, right? I believe that it's conclusive that these were bunk.
Within the FBI of whether or not they were taking the notes seriously. Remember, Reuters had that report that they thought the notes were fake. We've been reporting that for the most part, the FBI thinks the notes are real. I think this backs up that they are taking them seriously and believe that they could very well be legitimate, or they wouldn't be releasing them.
I totally disagree. Totally disagree with that statement. Because let's go to the line that specifically addresses these ransom notes, and I think it's down here. Here it is. So they're in their own specific paragraph. I disagree with Brian here. And it says 2 ransom notes attached were sent to local and national media outlets that purport to have been written by the kidnapper. Okay? So they're not saying have been written by the kidnapper. When they were presented, read this sentence again, in and of itself. The 2 ransom notes attached were sent to local and national media outlets that purport to have been written by the kidnapper. That, to me, that one sentence, to me, means they no longer believe that they are written by the kidnapper. Just the way I analyze it. The local CBS affiliate in Tucson, KOLD TV 13 News, received the first note on January 2nd, and the second on February 2nd and February 6th. I think it said January. Sorry about that. These came, and I will tell you, in my head, it said February, but then something said that didn't sound right, and I changed it, and that's how my live shows, man. It's crazy. I thought I said February, and I bet you I said January. I got to go back and check that. These communications reveal distinctive patterns of word choices, syntax, and phraseology that reflect the writer's unique linguistic style. They also provide valuable insight in the person's mindset, motive, and the evolution of their tone over time. No, it doesn't. It shows 2 totally different speech patterns. I'm very, very fluent with speech patterns. As with the unidentified male depicted in the video, we believe, so let's read this again. As with the unidentified male depicted in the video, we believe these distinctive linguistic characteristics may be recognized to someone who knows or has interacted with the note writer. They're not even connecting the note writer to the unidentified male depicted in the video. They're only referencing the unidentified male in the video to as with the unidentified male. We believe the distinct linguistics, because they had just previously told you in the paragraph, we put this in context, they already previously told you in the paragraphs above the behaviors of the individual. So they're saying as with the unidentified male video that they just explained above, they didn't say that, but that's what it's saying. We believe these distinctive linguistic characteristics may be recognizable by someone who knows or has interacted with the note writer. A friend, family member, coworker, classmate, acquaintance may recognize these patterns of expression and possess information that could help identify the individuals. Well, I've been reading a bunch of linguistics and they believe that this came from AI. Both of these notes came from AI. That's what people are saying. So I thought that was interesting. So I don't believe, I disagree with Brian Enton's assessment so far. I don't believe this, I think that the language, if this was, in my opinion, legitimate, this paragraph right here wouldn't be read so subjectively. Let's read it again. This is subjective. This is, in my opinion, this leaves more questions than answers. The ransom notes attached were sent to local and national media outlets that purport to have been written by the kidnapper. The local CBS affiliate, Tucson KOLD TV 13 News, received the first note on February 1st and the second note on February 6th. So this is important because they're identifying the fact that this is only one of the news organizations, not all three. So they didn't reference the other news organizations that did also receive these ransom notes. So that tells me that the ransom notes, remember I gave you guys the assessment that I believe every single ransom note received to these news organizations were different. They weren't identical from one place to another place. How many people remember me making that statement saying, I have a funny feeling, and it was after everybody started coming out with the paragraphs that were in there that identified Miss Nancy or why they believe these things. Everybody kept saying something a little different. And I'm like, they don't even have the same ransom notes. Every one of these organizations have different ransom notes. Remember me saying that? If you guys remember me saying that, raise your hand. Linguistic is a study of language and how it is used exactly. So you guys remember me saying that? At least some of you guys do. Okay. Well, that's where I'm going to go with this one. I think, I know TMZ was different than the news, but with them saying this is specifically KOLD and only KOLD's ransom notes received, I truly now believe none of the ransom notes were ever identical from news organization to news organization. I'm going to stand on that until we're proven wrong with that. I think I analyzed that right. I think I analyzed that right because this is kind of giving me that feeling that there's more than one ransom note. And what I mean by that is we know that 3 news organizations claim to have received ransom notes, right? But if they weren't the same identical ransom note from news organization and who doesn't know how to cut and paste? So you go over here, you cut and paste this over here, you cut and paste this over here. Who would write that? I mean, if they were using Chat GPT, they could just cut and paste from 111. They should have been identical. If they came from the same person, even if they were authentically written by that person, they would have cut and pasted it. They're not writing 6 different notes to 3 different news outlets. I know I definitely wouldn't. Agree, Betty. The ransom notes have no value anymore. The federal DC office doesn't believe the ransom notes. That's a fact. Only the Tucson office does, and I wonder if was influenced by Mark Kelly. Very great point. Mark Kelly keeps circling back to this, and we do have a clear a clear difference in the tone from Kash Patel that says, listen, Pima County's basically on their own. They can call us. And then I think Mark Kelly, the reason why the feds are involved, like I said, the only reason why they're looking at this from the ransom and kidnapping aspect with related to the ransom is that's the only jurisdiction the FBI has in this case. And once that avenue is resolved, they are merely a meager resource for Pima County Sheriff. They have no more authority in the case. They only have authority if this case is a ransom and a kidnapping. That's the only thing that gives them a no-body homicide. That is local. That's Pima County. Any other crime, burglary, robbery, rape, that is all Pima County. That federal, they have no jurisdiction. The only way that they have jurisdiction, and Kash Patel released them of their jurisdiction when he stood up there and said, Chris Nanos is running this case. We're only a mere resource to him at this point. And why was that? Because everybody knew these ransom notes were fake. If you guys want to know why I believe these ransom notes were dangled for 6 months, it wasn't to make us look over here while they're researching over here. They did this because Chris Nanos with Pima County Sheriff and the FBI are butting heads. And so they have no jurisdiction. Now you're telling an elite person like the FBI that wants to put Chris Nanos in jail that they have no jurisdiction over this case he's botching all over the place. And Kash Patel is like, screw him, we're done. And you're probably right. Mark Kelly says, you better correct this because if you don't have this jurisdiction, you're out. You're out. And so now they've been doing this as a strategy to stay in. And that's what I believe. And that's why I presented this the other day. Like, why, when I got this birdie and I knew in my heart of hearts that what this person was telling me was absolutely true, that they've known for a long time. And he wanted to make sure that this was known to me as being very, very specific, long time. Not recently, not in the last month when Chris Nanos was speaking at saying he didn't really believe him. No, before that. Like back in March, April area time frame. They knew that these were bunk. So why did they keep playing with them? Why was Howard Blum, when he came out and say they just keep defaulting to it? They weren't defaulting to it. They were keeping their tentacles in the case. I truly believe that was the purpose. But these ransom notes were fake then. They're fake now. People that have ran with the story, I get it. We didn't know. But FBI plays games, and retired FBI agents should know the games that FBIs have to play occasionally. They don't tell us the truth. They manipulate what is given to us. They distort the facts so we're confused while they're doing the investigation. These are tactics that should have been trained and taught. And so I would expect the FBI, the trainers, the retired FBI to kind of mitigate that and not, if they can't explain it because, they don't want it to talk about some of the training or real practices of the FBI. And I can understand that because you don't want to, you're still part of the team. We still want these people to effectively do their job. We don't want to handcuff them or hamstring them by leaking all their techniques out there. But I would think that a retired FBI agent would factor this in with some of their, and make sure that even though if they don't say it, that they're protecting their theory if it does happen. And I think that in this case, a lot of people went with the ransom note. Why? Maybe because the FBI wouldn't let it go, but I think I explained why they wouldn't let it go. They wanted the jurisdiction to still stay in the case. Chris Nanos could have told him to get bent and get out because he's the lead investigator on this case. And because of the tug and pull and because of the butting of the heads, I think that the FBI would have been tossed out on their ass. They had no jurisdiction. The only thing that gave them jurisdiction was these stupid ransom notes. I'm sorry, it was. Is that what happened? I don't know. I really don't know. But, hindsight's a wonderful thing. And that's what it kind of looks like. So I don't know. I don't want to accuse anybody of any, wrongdoing, and it wasn't me wrongdoing, because it'll be like, well, you never know, so they do actually have an explanation, right? Because you'll never know, right? So all right, let's get back to Brian.
Like this, the tone of the two notes is so different, Blake.
That bing ding 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 ding. But this goes back to hello's statement. Could something else explain why these two notes are so erratically different? Could it be something like multiple personalities, or other mental defect? And in all fairness, hey Strawberry, it's nice to see you, love bug. Laura, good morning, guys. Come on in. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I never said a good morning to you, lazy days. I'm sorry. With no nads in the DNA, like old MacDonald has a farm. Here a lab, there a lab, everywhere a lab. Oh, McDonald has a farm. Here's a lab there, and a lab there, and a lab everywhere. Lab. Okay, all right. You cracked me up. You cracked me up. We have almost 449 people in the chat. I want to thank you all for being here. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If this is the first time that you've been to the show, consider hitting that subscribe button and never missing another good content or explanation or breakdown of these cases. It's very difficult, and so we just go little by slow, and we really try to understand all the possibilities of the ways that this can be interpreted and find out what makes the most sense, right? And that really is sometimes what it takes, just taking your time, analyzing this stuff, and figuring out what it says. Like yesterday, that one sentence we just spent 20 minutes on, right? That said something to me yesterday, something different than it says to me today, because we have to analyze it and keep working it to find out. Now, instead of it being the 11th, we might have another day. We might have 2 separate days that this assailant came to that house prior to the abduction. This is starting to sound more and more like Brian Kohberger. So we're dealing with more of a, somebody. I feel like we're going to have a Brian Kohberger effect on this case. You don't call someone who, that just popped up on me. Hey, Scott, good morning. Did you give them hell last? I didn't bring my Bullhorn fell, and one of my batteries fell out of it, and I can't find one of the C batteries, so I went to grab the Bullhorn, and the Bullhorn was missing a battery, and I didn't have time to go pick up batteries to put in it for the protest, but we're doing another one, and the other one's going to be where I'm bringing the Bullhorn. And yeah, I will give them hell, but I only stood out there and just waved a flag. I didn't really do my Bullhorn Betty stuff, which is usually in the microphone or in the Bullhorn talking about flock cameras. But I would have loved to have done more, but it was great. It was great. I didn't know what, they invited me out. It was a smaller group than what I was usually accustomed to, but it was put together so quickly, like 2 days. So we had a great turnout for a 2-day turnaround for an event, to be honest with you. We had a political electee that showed up there and gave some statements on flock cameras and, the ability to not to be tracked by people have some smart ass comments like I'm on my camera. It's like, so you can record yourself out there, but flock can't. It's like, it's my choice. Like if I get to choose when I put myself out there on film, just like I made a conscious effort to choose to come here and put my face on a screen this morning. But that's my choice. When you're recording me 24/7, that's taking away my choice of when I want to be recorded. And I'm all for things when we have informed consent. But when you start throwing up stuff all over this county and we have no idea what it does or who has access to our personal private information, well, you got yourself a problem. And if anybody's going to allow, I mean, you guys have no earthly, we're going to do a report on it. Well, let's get back to topic. I can literally go on a tangent right now. Let's get back on topic. But yes, it was a great
The first
turnout.
one, just horrific. And
USD, as soon as I saw that USD in there, I am absolutely 100% confident this is bogus. Bogus. You read it, bogus. Never seen a ransom note written like this, act like this. This does not bode with ransoms. This doesn't even bode with the ransoms we've seen on TV. Okay? It frustrates me. I disagree with Brian on this. Love you, Brian. Agree to disagree.
basically threatening to kill Nancy. And then the second one, just it almost seems like it was written by a different person.
Yep.
Essentially, it's an apology. And a few new things we learned today, Blake, quickly, that from the sheriff's office, they're confirming the video that we've seen from the...
Well, they could get him for firing, but I asked. I said, I put my flag up in front of the flock camera. They're like, I'm like, I wonder if I'm gonna get, like, I don't think my sheriff would ever arrest me for my protest. He would know better. My sheriff knows me. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit different. But if I was in another community that they didn't know me, like Sumner County, that's so happy to shut a loudmouth like me up, right? A woman, right? Because they're racist and they hate women. Like, women know their role in Tennessee. Not that that's the case, but they're not very comfortable with alpha females out there in Tennessee. I'm just letting you know. They don't like my kind. But you know, if I was out there covering up a flock camera, I was talking to one of our electees last night, and I'm like, what statute do they have? I bet you they're going to be trying to come up with some stuff like, you know, public nuisance and stuff like. You can't do that. Whatever idiot out there is advising sheriffs to do this, I'm advising everybody, if you are wrongly arrested on this type of bullcrap, get yourself an attorney. Our winter soldier just went to jail yesterday for showing up to an event that they were having with Sidney Gruters. Sidney Gruters, I'm going to tell you right now, chica, I don't give a rat's ass whether Donald J. Trump has endorsed you or not. I will never vote for you, lady. Okay? When your husband, the first thing your husband chooses to do as a Republican is to make it a crime to smoke on a beach in the free air, whether you like cigarettes or not, that's not the debate. Is it legal? Yes, it is. Does somebody have a right to choose for what they do for themselves? Yes, they do. And your husband, as a Republican, put that type of restriction on our beaches out in the open? Yeah, that's not less government. Like, I want the government out of our freaking life. And she had the Winter Soldier, the person that's running against her, his entourage, so to speak, wasn't allowed in. They wouldn't record it. These are people debating for serious positions in the state of Florida. Wouldn't let them debate and then arrested one of our guys. Bitch, please. If I get any opportunity to destroy you, Sydney, and your husband, I'm going to do it. And I'm a front row Joe, baby. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, baby. I'm coming for you, Sidney Gruters. I'm coming for you.
The front Ring doorbell camera, we reported this early on. They're now confirming that the video is from different nights, that the person was out there likely scoping out the place ahead of the abduction. And they're also now asking people to come forward who may know someone who was talking strangely about Nancy Guthrie, who's now avoiding the neighborhood, who has unexplained injuries like cuts or bruises.
Cuts or bruises, dude. That's another part of contention with this case. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let's get over here to this. Unexplained injuries. Cuts on the hand. It's the cuts on the hand that's bothering me. It's the cuts on the hands that's bothering me. Because the only time we have people worrying about cuts on the hand, tell me if I'm lying, and tell me if you think I'm being honest about this, is when we have knife injuries, no? Do they think that Miss Nancy Guthrie was cut with a knife? Was there a bloody knife left at the scene? Yeah, she did. You don't arrest my people. You don't arrest my people. We're getting some breaking stuff in. We're getting breaking news. Breaking news coming in right now. Breaking news coming in right now. If you are on this show, thank you, Sonia, for sending this to me. We have breaking news right now. Come on in. We're getting a new update as we speak. Let me put it up on the screen. Okay. Give it just a second, because my lips are going until it's completely, because we just opened up Facebook, which has the worst lag of all the social medias out there. Oh, Mr. Dunham, it's nice to see you. Crystal, nice to see you as well. Lisa, if there was a knife involved, then you wouldn't think there would be, you would think there would be more DNA. Well, we just found out from Chris Nanos the day before about 36 hours before he releases the hair, the most critical piece of evidence in the Nancy Guthrie case that we knew so far, was bunk. But like 2 days before that, he says, "Oh, we have so much DNA to go through." That's what he says. And that was the first time we heard him say there is so much DNA to go through. And then we're like, oh, good, we got more DNA. They must have located DNA. And I even said, I wonder if it was on her sheets or something like that. Maybe the lab's just now getting to this stuff. And now they're like, oh my gosh, we have a treasure trove of DNA. And then 2 days later, it's like, you know, we don't have the hair anymore. Now we only have the mixture left. And it's like, well, you just said we have an overwhelming amount of DNA now. So was he withholding that from us before, and now that all the DNA is coming out, and it's all the DNA he talked to us about is now turning out not to be nothing burgers, you know, inconclusive, not anything that's going to help this case at this juncture move forward. So yeah, but again, that's why I'm questioning it, right? But that's why I'm questioning it, Lisa, because in all fairness, we don't know. Chris Nanos has made pretty good and well that we were freaking confused to all get out in this case. We know nothing. And when we think we know nothing, guess what? Chris Nanos opens his mouth. And then we're even more confused, right? We think we understand, like we just got this media release. How many of you guys are in the chat waiting for the shoe to drop? How many of you guys are waiting for the retracted statement? I'm waiting with bated breath, okay? Like I'm waiting for the retraction now. Oh, well, you know, I didn't mean to say it like that. I didn't expect people to hold me accountable to my words. Isn't that what he said? I didn't believe people were going to hold me accountable to my words. Can you imagine saying that in front of an FBI agent? I looked at that guy, and he kind of gave Chris Nanos that glance of, you dumbass. Like, and I think most of us did. Like, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop here. I'm not lying. He has said many, and he have little touch DNA here, more over there, more over here. Then hopefully we can put that all together and get something. I'm hoping, but he just came out right before this, and we found out that this news here that we're learning today, that we learned yesterday, this is all the information that was had almost 45 days ago. So law enforcement has been sitting on all of this for 45 days. Think about all the times, and this includes the FBI coming out and saying that they believe the ransom notes, you know, that whole thing after Kash Patel, that was within that 45 days. So they've known. Not only did they know these ransom notes were bunk, they knew that the DNA was coming back, and it was coming back inconclusive. And then the FBI of Phoenix writes us a press release saying that they believe that some of these ransom notes might be legitimate, knowing damn good and well they weren't. Knowing damn good and well they weren't. And the FBI statement, if you catalog that, go back and look at the date of that statement. It's within that 45 days. They knew all of this. They lied to us, the FBI. Now I can honestly say the field office of Phoenix FBI office has officially lied to the people. Has officially lied to the public. Can they lie to the public? Yes, they can. And there is not a thing that we can do about it. But we do. If the proof is in the pudding. We can prove. I've never been able to prove the FBI has lied to the public before, but I think that this is absolutely proven that they lied to us. Publicly. We're going to find out these ransom notes are bogus. They knew they were bogus. And they went out of their way to make us believe that they were legitimate. Why? Why? That's what I'd like to know. Why? So breaking news, guys. I'm taking a break from the conversation piece we just did. This was a post from Miss Savannah Guthrie 4 hours ago. So around 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. This is what she posted. 4 or 5 o'clock this morning tells us on a Saturday morning, this poor lady is probably not sleeping very well. Just to throw that out there. Just to throw that out there. Not sleeping well at all. So this is our beautiful mom, she writes. 6 months ago, someone took her out of her bed in the dead of night. We have lived every moment, every breath, every heartbeat in agony and despair ever since. Every day we wake up and try to be strong and go on, because that's what our joyful and resilient mom taught us to do. But make no mistake, our hearts are in ruins. Cam and Christine, Annie and Tommy, Mike and me, we spend every waking moment thinking of her, longing for her, looking for her. Where are they looking for her? I'd like to ask her, where are you looking? Maybe we don't know what they're doing, There is a hole inside of us that can never be filled. There is an ache that cannot be softened. And there is a determination in us that cannot be quenched. I don't like how this is too theatrical. It doesn't seem, just in this whole thing, where it says, and the determination in us cannot be quenched. I don't like scripts, folks. I like authenticity. This doesn't seem authentic. Cannot be quenched. And there is a determination in us that cannot be quenched to find out what happened to her so that we can give her the dignity of a proper goodbye, a celebration of her remarkable life that she so deserves. Now, if this is not a completely slap and a clap back to Chris Nanos that says he's giving the Guthrie family the dignity, if they believe their mom's still here, well, by God, we do too. And I told you that was stupid, because we know we're dealing with a no-body homicide right now. And by classifying this as a no-body homicide, it opens up more resources to that department. But he refuses to do it. And now we have Savannah Guthrie very much coming to the world and saying, I know my mom is gone, but we want her back, and we want to bury her in a dignified manner so we can properly say goodbye and celebrate her life. That's what she just said. She knows mom's gone. So, like I told you, every time Chris opens his mouth and tries to tell the world that she's still alive, it's like adding salt to an open wound of this family. And I've told you guys, it is my opinion that Savannah and her family are well aware that their mom is gone. She has already alluded to some of that. So she says, we are begging for help. We are desperate. We need someone to come forward. Someone knows something. Someone suspects something. So I said that from the very beginning. Somebody knows where that jacket came from because he wore it in both of those. So that means this was a jacket he was comfortable wearing. Somebody bought that for him. Somebody has seen that jacket on him. And it's a gray jacket, it looks like, or a black jacket, or something charcoal-y jacket with a line that goes across the breastplate. Somebody knows. Someone recognizes the writing in the ransom demand notes. I don't recognize the writing. I believe it's bullshit. Someone has noticed something different, strange, troubling, or just unusual. Perhaps someone they deeply love. Perhaps they're afraid to come forward. Perhaps they are conflicted. Perhaps they are in agony or upset for being in this situation. There is a way out to tell what you know. You can do it so anonymously. The reward is available. There is a way to end this situation and do the right thing. We are real people facing real grief, doing the best we can, and counting our many blessings along the way, most especially the prayers and the love from good people which we feel deeply. We need prayers. We need your kindness. We need the good to be stronger than the evil. If you are following this story for entertainment or for profit, you are not on her side. You are part of the harm perpetrated against her. Interesting. If you are following this story for entertainment, I don't think anybody's following this story for entertainment. For profit, you mean like NBC? Because I'm pretty sure NBC has profited by the millions on this story. Watch your P's and Q's, Miss Guthrie. You are part of the problem and harm perpetrated against her, so I guess you're talking about your own company. We will never stop looking for answers. We will never stop looking for light. We will always be hoping and praying and believing in the best part of our world in spite of circumstance. This is what our faith makes possible. So insulting people is what your faith makes possible. Got it. Got it. Got it. Please bring her home. I don't know if agony or pain is appropriate to be or excuse yourself for poor behavior. People out here have been worried. I make profit off this story. Does that mean I don't care? Does that mean I don't want her to come home? No, this is my job. Just like in normal media, that is their job, to inform the public. Thank God we do it with actual facts, and we don't have propaganda or try to manipulate our audience. We're not as corrupted as politicians. We don't have, say Mark Kelly to call and to misinform the entire world about ransom notes that are not legitimate or real just because you want them to be legitimate and real. So you can blame yourself and feel pity for yourself. Pity and blame can come after grief, and it can come after we find your mom. But I think I find offense. I'm starting to find offense in Miss Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's statements, in part. Like it was a heartfelt plea. And then she wants to be critical of people that have been out there, looking for her mother. Now, is she just talking about content creators, independent journalists? Is she talking about mainstream media? What is she talking about here? We want to bring her home. I can tell you, my heart is in the right place. I want to bring her home. How does she know that she's passed away, though? Very easy. The lady can't live without her medication. Her doctor said if she does not have her medication daily, her heart will stop. Stop. How long does it take for a pacemaker to try to jump your heart to bring it back to life before the pacemaker truly dies and loses his battery and goes off in the network that makes sure that your heart, maybe there's a report that says she's gone. It seems like that, it seems like that. I mean, I feel bad that that Savannah has been that Savannah is going through. I don't want this for anybody, period. I would never wish this stuff, a mom or a child, on my worst enemy. Okay? Even people that I dislike so much that I could say I probably hate, which is a horrible word to say, especially as a Christian woman, but occasionally it does pop out and does circle around. I'm a human. I wouldn't wish this on them. So I think that we're all in a unique position where we have empathy and sympathy for the Guthrie family, while also equally being frustrated with them. And I think that in this case is fairly normal, because this case is so abnormal. Nothing is normal. Our behavior is abnormal. Their behavior is abnormal. This case is abnormal. The investigation is abnormal. I mean, everything that we do related to this case is abnormal on top of abnormal. I mean, there's nothing normal about this case. It is a crazy case. Why is it a media circus? Because it is a crazy case. It is a circus. Everything in this case has defied its logic. And I think the whole world is watching the family say that they're looking. Nobody has looked. Let's be very, very clear. Savannah, her rich husband, her rich brother and family, nobody has put walking boots on. Nobody has printed one single flyer or posted it. Where are they looking for her? And I want to clarify this. If you're going to insult people out here that truly give a shit about this case, then fine. Where have you all been looking? Specifically, under your desk? In New York? In Vermont? Where did Annie and Tommaso go? I bet you they're not looking for her either. Where are they searching for her? Where are they? Are they even in Arizona? Is there anybody in the Guthrie family that is physically in Arizona looking for Miss Nancy Guthrie? Savannah doesn't like the fact that YouTube podcasts and streamers, because the facts are out there. Because people are pointing the fingers at her family, and she hates that. Anybody's family would hate that. Welcome to true crime. How many times has Miss Savannah pointed the finger at somebody in her career? Karma. Again, karma. People want to come in. Like last night we were in Seth Rogers' chat. You know, I had just come back yesterday. I was very exhausted. I mowed my yard, my neighbor's yard, because, you know, it's too hot. Glenn's elderly. And so I got his yard. That was, you know, riding lawnmower and push lawnmower. These are 1/4 acre lots. So it's a lot of work. And then I had a protest last night, and then I got on with Seth, and of course I was tired. I was yawning. I ended up only staying like an hour, and then I had to go to bed. But people were being really mean, and maybe it was my tiredness or frustration. But you know, I was like, "How dare you?" This is a father that went out physically searching for his son. That handed out flyers, that made sure everybody in the community had flyers to make sure that they were talking about Sebastian. If Seth was not going around and doing all that he was doing, Sebastian's case would have fallen flat. He was a 15-year-old. The case was presented as him being a 15-year-old boy as a runaway. One thing that most of us content creators do not cover are teenage boys that run away. Why? Because they're a dime a dozen. Are we saying that they're not in jeopardy of being injured? No, we're not saying that. We're just saying that our shows would be consumed by runaways if we just stopped talking about true crime cases and only focused on teenage runaways. They're a dime a dozen. We don't cover teenage runaways. How many of you have been on YouTube? And there might be a few smaller channels, but nobody is covering a teenage runaway. Not in depth. So there was something, had it not been for Seth making sure we knew things were not right in this case. I think that the case would have got some attention, but would have died out very quickly. It was Seth that kept this in the spotlights, for social media, and then of course Chris Proudfoot started coming to social media to get some felons to help him squelch the criticism. So he got his felons. Now everybody's being sued, even the county, multiple times over, all because of the behavior of Chris and Katie Proudfoot. But in all fairness, they also sat on these platforms and told everybody that they're looking for their son when they were not, when they were just sitting back. And this is giving people some really frustrating, showing frustration towards Savannah Guthrie, because she's doing the exact same thing. She's coming here saying she's looking, but no, everybody knows for a fact she's not. She's not. Let me see what we got here. Babe Joy of Florida says he's already been on Bay 9. Oh, we got more people blocking the flock. Flock off! We got a new name. Betty's not going to be saying any more F-bombs. We got a new word. Flock you. Flock you. There we go. We'll be raising awareness for anti-flock. We do not like mass surveillance in the United States of America, so we're going to be flocking it away. Flock off. Flock off. Savannah doesn't like the facts that, yeah, I agree with that. And I don't know why. I don't like listen, guys, I'm a human being that covers true crime. And I know that families and how heartful and hurtful these cases and how much pain losing a loved one, even missing, right? Even missing loved ones, lost loved ones. It's very, very hard. And so for me to have this type of feeling toward a family that's suffering, I don't like the way it makes me feel. I'm not lying to you, okay? I don't like being mad at a victim's family that I don't believe is involved. Sorry, I just got off track here a little bit. Sorry, I don't know why, but see if I can trigger this. What the heck happened? Why are we off? I have no earthly idea why we're off on syncing right now, but let me just go ahead and I'll put this back up and we'll talk. Oops, sorry. I'll just take my face off. Are we back? Okay, we're back. Okay. Sometimes it gets a little I don't know, sticky. But I don't like the way it makes me feel. I feel bad. My heart breaks when I'm angry at an innocent person that I know didn't hurt their loved one that's missing or dead, okay? But their behavior is so out of character for the case that I'm upset with the person for having that out of character behavior. And I already don't like rich people. I mean, like really, really rich, not just rich people. I love rich people. But it's the ones that are in music, that are in TV. There's just something wrong with the way they think. I'm sorry. There's something just wrong. There's very, very limited people, unless they're like on a lower, like local level. But when you get up into that national spotlight, there is something seriously wrong with these people's head and their programming. I'm sorry. There just is. And I truly just don't like people from New York, or Los Angeles, California that are in, or Hollywood, California that are in, the biz. I don't like them. Most of them have anxiety issues, mental health issues, drugs and substance abuse and alcohol abuse issues, sex problems, just disgusting morals. It's just, I'm sorry. They're just not us. Okay? They're not normal. They think differently. And so I'm trying to apply all that with Savannah, I don't know. I feel like we're all kind of we're kind of disappointed. I think that I think is more in line with it. I think I just hit the nail on the head. We're disappointed with the Guthrie family and the way that they handled this case. I think that would probably be the best. We don't believe, like, I don't believe Savannah had anything to do with this. I know my audience members still believe in Annie and Tommaso potentially having some things. It sounds to me like everybody is talking about Chris putting everybody back into this case. Like, even Brian Enton is talking about nobody's cleared. That was a big statement for Chris Nanos, because we've been fighting back and forth. Not fighting, debating. I say fighting, but, you know, here on this channel, we don't really fight, we debate. Some people are disrespectful. Hey, Shauna, it's nice to see you. I didn't think about it when last time, but President of the United States spoke on missing person or missing kids. He don't. Well, all I know is that he authorized the FBI to use whatever resources necessary to bring Nancy Guthrie home. But I think the best word to use is disappointed. Yeah, I think that really does kind of encompass. We don't think that Savannah is guilty of this crime. She didn't have the motive, means, or opportunity. She was in New York. But we know that she has the purse strings. We know that she has the finances. And we're just disappointed. I think we're disappointed that there's no private investigation being done. I think we're disappointed that there was no thought to lend an olive branch to the boots on the ground out there to see if she could give them some missing person flyers, since they were already out there, and maybe just open lines of communication. So if there's any leads, like Seth did, you know, Seth, anybody that was talking about his son when his son was missing, he would reach out to those content creators to open a line of communication in case they got any leads or anything that might be beneficial, you know, to his son's case, or, you know, to law enforcement and stuff like that. He always made sure that whoever was talking about his son's case, that they knew he was available to speak to them if they needed him. And this is one thing that we didn't get from the Guthrie family. They were basically like, fuck the whole world, bring my mom home, or screw you. And I think that was very, very, very off-putting to a lot of people in this genre, because we were truly coming with a pure heart to try to help and lend our platforms, or in some cases, you know, platforms that had hundreds of thousands of people, and got this news out further than the local or national news could get. I mean, and you're disappointed in those results, and you're criticizing people for those results. I mean, I find that unchristian-like. Doesn't sound like you're thankful for all the blessings you've received during this time. I found it very offensive. Very offensive. But I don't take it personally, because it's not being discussed. It's not attacking me, you know. But at the end of the day, I think that it is wrong for her to treat people like that out of any capacity, making it about money when she literally has more money than all of us, and could have literally ran her own damn investigation and chose not to. Chose to take a tax write-off versus put $500,000 toward flyers and signs and billboards. So you can say a lot about a lot of people, but, you know, every time you point a finger at somebody, you got three pointing right back at you. Karma is horrible. And you know what? It makes you wonder, I'm sorry, it sounds awful for me to say it. I don't mean to. You know, again, this is just an uncomfortable case with some uncomfortable elements in it. Just because you're awesome. Oh, thank you. Hello. But it doesn't seem right. I mean, you got a woman that went back to work 2 months after. She's never put $1 toward her mom. She's given stuff to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, but that's a nonprofit. That's a freaking tax write-off. A huge tax write-off for $500,000. A huge tax write-off. And she's, of all people, talking about profit? The highest paid Today Show co-host? On a company like NBC? That has done nothing but profitize off heartache and pain? The fuck? The flock? The flock? It's going to take a little time to adjust. Clearly. I'm very disappointed in the family. I don't want to be attacking the family, but I think that, I think it's on the table that we can discuss the family. You know? I don't know. I just feel it's wrong. The flock. Yeah, what the flock? I know. It's going to start. It'll start. We're starting right now, the flock. Anyways, I don't want to be beating up on Savannah. I think it's just adding insult to injury, but in all fairness, I think we're disappointed. I think that's, I don't want to say I'm mad at her or angry with her. I'm not, because I feel bad. Again, I feel bad for her whole damn family, okay? I'm not lying. I feel bad. But we still have a job to do, and our job is critical. You flocked up. I did. We have created an animal. We're all going to be saying flock. No more F-bombs allowed. It is courtesy of the red, white, and blue, our big brother of government. Thank you. What the flock are you doing? New word. Got a new word. F-bombs are being diminished by the day. If I was Savannah, I would have the streamers out there at her mom's house, hydrated, fed, gift cards. Yeah, just showing it's not the family. It's not the family. So hello is saying it's not the family. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to be mean to her. I'm just disappointed. I thought they would have been, especially Savannah being in social media, being in the media, you would think that but this shows you mainstream media versus social media. She still hates social media, even in light of her mom being missing and then being the only ones that are still carrying this case this whole time. It's just, it's insanity to me. It really is. I mean, you can't, whatever. Let's keep going with Brian.
Change in physical appearance, who was cleaning their vehicle in a strange way.
Oh, that's right. We kind of got on a tangent here. So we got vehicle cleanings, we've got potential bruises and cuts on the hand. This is a FBI profile, folks. Okay? An FBI profile. Why would they assume the man would have bruises or cuts on the hands? Give me a theory or an example where they would assume that an assailant may have cuts on their hand or bruises. Tell me that does not sound like there was a struggle, a more violent struggle in that house than what we initially were told, even by all those secret sources. I'm not saying that there is, but doesn't it almost imply? I mean, think about that. A profile coming back that he may have cuts on his hands? On his hands? The only way I have ever known people to get cuts on their hands, an assailant of all things, to get cuts on their hands, is by stabbing. Because your blood is like motor oil. And most knives are not K-bar knives where they have something that keeps your hand from slipping down the blade. Most are knives that have, whether they're flipped up or flipped down, but they don't have any bar across them to keep your hand from slipping down so you slice your hand open when you're stabbing. I just found that statement alarming. Just alarming, especially in light of knowing that there is blood on the outside of that home. I don't know what Savannah Guthrie's salary is, but she's worth $40 to $50 million. And she's talking to people about profit off of a case when all she's done her entire career is profit off of cases. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think that statement alone is going to distract from that entire statement. I think people are going to get a hold of that. I mean, sorry. Social media, people protect social media. People love social media. And people love the content creators that are covering this case, and they trust the content creators that are covering this case because in fairness, we got no reason to I mean, everybody's like, now in all fairness, like in the Brian Koberger case and stuff like that, there were people on social media that were coming up with some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. Accusing people, that's one thing we didn't do. Olivia and I, we never accused anybody. We did ask a few questions sometimes about this person or that person, but we never accused their boyfriends. We've never accused their friends. We never thought that their friends were homicidal maniacs, because we were following the leads in the case. We never did that. If you can go back and all of the stuff, the only thing that I think that was controversial in my coverage of that was, could Dylan have saved them? People did not like my reporting on Dylan Mortensen, because she was up. She's seen the masked gunman. We realized what all she saw by, we now know. Like, how could she just sit there and not call the cops is beyond me. Or why did she run down in Brittany's room and that none of them go upstairs to see what happened with this masked gunman if they were so freaked out? I mean, I get it. I don't want to be an a-hole. But I'm like, could she have saved her friends? And I ended up saying in that piece that probably not. But I did put it out there, and I put it squarely on Dylan Mortensen, and people didn't like that. And so, I mean, I understand a little bit, but I don't know. I never really accused them. I haven't really accused the family, but the content creation and some people on these platforms, they're dumbasses on social media. Okay. There's dumbasses that are so stupid, they have no business even thinking. And I mean that wholeheartedly. There are some people on these platforms that are so stupid, it's a crime to think. And those are the people that all these law enforcement agents are sitting there comparing us, social media, painting with this broad brush that this is social media. No, those aren't, that is not us. I don't know who these jokers are. And I saw a lot of them in the Idaho 4 on TikTok, literally spreading around false and misinformation that really didn't make sense. And people were watching them in the droves. They were idiots. They were absolute idiots. So I understand in part why some, and I think that's why it's important when we try to get the and differentiate hate channels and drama channels with true crime channels. True crime is true crime. We're not bringing in the drama. We're not doing the clicks and the views for the drama. We're not doing fighting back and forth with content creators bull crap. That's nonsense. That's stupid. That's stupid. But there are people out there that were spreading around I didn't see all of that in this case. I think people were genuinely trying to help the Guthrie family, and were working around the clock to try to make sure that we brought the most information and the best information to the platform. I even looked at some of the people on TikTok. I mean, I didn't see any wild conspiracy theories out there. I mean, even the theories about Tommaso weren't wild conspiracy theories. I mean, they would be normal, customary theories that people would have in cases like this. So I didn't understand, Still don't.
They've never gone to this extent to put this kind of a list out and ask people to come forward if they know anyone who meets those qualities. So I thought that was interesting. That just came out today.
Yeah, Rob, the sheriff's office also goes on to say these communications reveal distinctive patterns of word choice, syntax, and phraseology that reflect the writer's unique linguistic style. They go on.
It's very interesting because the reports coming out today from very much linguistic experts are saying that this looks AI. This looks like it was helped, by the way. You know, that there were, it looks like it, what they had said is it looks like outside of a couple grammatical intentional mistakes, this looks like AI helped create this. And I as soon as I heard it, I believed it, but there's no way that even the speech pattern itself, and it comes back to hello, hello, when hello, hello said, is it possible that, maybe a multiple personality could produce the same result? It's possible. I don't know enough about that illness to know whether it would alter this actual speech pattern, the behavior. I mean, I know that each personality would have a different behavior, but would it change the speech pattern? Even if their voice changed. Voice change, like me talking like this and me talking like this or me talking like this. The speech pattern itself doesn't change. My tone does. The sound of my voice may change, but does the pattern of my speech truly change? And I don't think it does. So would that, because this didn't have to do with personality, this had to do with speech pattern. The speech pattern was completely different. So I don't know. I think that would be up for speculation, but to be honest with you, definitely furthest person from an expert in psychological issues and the nuances of each one.
I want to say a friend, family member, coworker, classmate, or acquaintance may recognize these patterns.
Yeah, Blake, a couple of things jumped out to me when I first read these. The first was, this is clearly an educated person, right? They used some fairly sophisticated words to describe.
Raise your hand if you think ChatGPT is very, very sophisticated. Ones and twos is good. Yes, I think it's sophisticated. 1, 2, no. Not sophisticated at all. Is it? It is the family. Jade says it is the family. I think NBC made her do that post because ratings are bad because Savannah has been aloof. Might be, Leanne, but we're actually hearing just the opposite. That they were trying to push her out the door. We actually have been running reports on it. How unnecessarily cruel NBC has been to her. So it's locked up tighter than Fort Knox. And it took years for me to get over somebody that I wanted to date that was in Hollywood, and Mom wouldn't let me move there. And now I thank God. Wow. I've known a lot of people. I've been around the block a time or two. Thank God I haven't been around. I'm just saying, not playing. I say, boy, listen here. I say, all these AI apps are a flock of bullsack. All right, Foghorn. It's nice to see you, Chelsea. Good morning. Oma, wow, looky. Hello, my love. I hope you're doing well. Maury, good morning. So, yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Let's go.
And Brian's exactly right. This is, I believe, maybe the same person, but speaking from a very different context. Once Nancy had died, they're in a different position now. The first note was demanding and authoritative. The second one was almost sympathetic.
Well, it sounds funny because you look like a smart dude. Why didn't you listen to the second note and it said she died shortly after taken? So that means by the first note she was already dead too, sir. Just pointing that out. Just pointing the obvious out there to you, Cupcake.
I noted that they used, she perished, not she died. She perished. Also, in the first note, we did not, or the second note, we did not fully grasp the seriousness of her condition.
I think it's all bullshit, all of it.
That's a fairly educated person writing that.
Thank you,
it's very telling. I believe, the 6-month mark, it was the 31st of January when she was abducted. The other bombshell, of course, is the revelation that
they're taking all this as fact. Okay, we're not in a court of law. You guys are investigators. You need to be skeptical. Not taking everything as fact and analyzing it as completely factual. Where's the skepticism? I can't listen to any more of this. I can't listen to any more of it. I'm sorry. When I totally disagree, I totally disagree until I find out I'm wrong, which, in fairness, I might be wrong about the 11th because I'm still trying to analyze what this paragraph here means. Because I believe the 11th was the botched burglary. But they're saying they have 2 videos recovered from Nancy's doorbell camera from 2 separate days, and they indicate that this guy took steps to prepare for the event on the night of February 1st. So they have 2 different separate videos from potentially 2 separate dates that don't appear to go into the date of the 3rd, but these 2 dates indicated he was taking steps to prepare for the actual day. So very, very interesting. Read the paragraph again, Betty. Okay, the paragraph says, the one I'm reading now, it says 2 videos recovered from Nancy's doorbell camera, maybe from 2 separate days. These videos are critical to our understanding of the identified male's behavior and choices. I don't know why they had to put that in there. I feel like they did that just to break up the sentence. They indicate he took steps to prepare for the event on the night of January 31st to February 1st. So if we take out that paragraph that's useless information and we just read it as 2 videos recovered from Nancy's doorbell camera, maybe from 2 separate days, and they indicate he took steps to prepare for the events on the night of January 31st to February 1st. They sound to me like those are 2 separate cameras that are different from the images that we have that are public that were received by the FBI and submitted to us on February 10th. Because they say 2 videos recovered from Nancy's doorbell camera from 2 separate days, potentially, indicate he took steps to prepare for the night. So we have 2 videos that show he is preparing for the night of February 1st. So those 2 videos have nothing to do with the night of February 1st. They have 2 videos, 2 separate videos of this man before he took Nancy out of that home. That's what I'm reading here. That means he was there multiple times to her house. That gives us this kind of gives us some type of behavior similar to that of Brian Kohberger. Because Brian Kohberger went to the suspect's house multiple times before he ultimately went in there and took them. Killed them, murdered them. So now we have a stalker. We have a stalker. Miss Guthrie was stalked. Aw, thank you, Purple. Appreciate you. Was he in the area on the 17th and 18th too, every weekend? That would be a great place. A great question. That'd be a great question. Is it Jocko? Did I pronounce that right? Great question. I don't know. Why no vehicle? Another great question. Premeditated. Ding, 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 ding. Definitely premeditated. We were talking about this being an execution. Now we're talking about assailants having bruises and cuts on their hands. I don't know what to think about this information. I really don't. Yes, it gives us some answers to some things. I guess if it doesn't give us specific answers. It clarifies things more for us. I think that's the best way to describe it. It clarifies more things for us, but it also we now have more questions than we had previously. So it did good, but still we're still missing a lot. Again, vehicle. We know that there's a vehicle. How do we know there's a vehicle? Well, we used our common sense before. We knew that she was transported in a vehicle. We knew that she had to be. There's no way that one or two people are dragging this lady that can barely walk by hand around as they're kidnapping her. They're going to definitely be loading her up into a vehicle. So them having a vehicle cleaning in here, seeing somebody, cleaning their vehicle unnecessarily, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So we know that they know there was a vehicle used. They just said it. We know that there's a vehicle used. So why haven't they talked about the vehicle? Moreover, Lazy Days, why haven't they given us a reasonable route that was taken at this juncture? We're 6 months in. Why do we only see one video? Great question. I told you they would never give us everything. And it was crazy because how funky it was that I was just talking about how law enforcement holds things even when they get the results and stuff like that. I was just talking about, like, the day before, how law enforcement waits before they release information to the public. So they're not getting results in and then going straight to the public and releasing those results. They're getting those results in, and those results go around to a multitude of hands. Then like this news release, this media release right here. This was prepared, right? But it went through all of these hands to make sure that everybody agreed that this is going to be the statement that is released to the public. This was going to be a very specific joint statement, most likely, that was going to be released to the public. Chris Nanos was not going to do a press conference on the information. They were going to have a written document where it was clearly saw and defined every aspect that everybody wanted out there. Nothing more, nothing less. So this probably went through multiple drafts. It probably took a good 20 days to have this fully drafted and approved by all the hands involved in this case. Just to put it out there. And we find out about this stuff 45 days after law enforcement. That was detrimental. So they've known about this. Then you go back 45 days and you look at what happened 45 days ago, and you start seeing Savannah going to Los Angeles. You start seeing all this. So they're getting all this information. I even said, I think that Los Angeles is too close to Pima County. There is no way that I believe Savannah, that it's a decoy. She's going up there. She's seeing Carson. She's got the voice behind her. That was a decoy. That was a decoy. She was going there to speak to them about her mother's case, and they didn't want anybody knowing about that. So I still believe that that's the case. So no one will answer this question. So I'm going to go through the fan funding. We're almost done with our show. I want to thank everybody for being here, but we're going to go through the questions in the chat. So we've got no one will answer this question, and people like it, and then poof, it's gone. What if the Porch guy or whoever has multiple personalities? Maybe that's why the notes are so weird. And so far, in all fairness, I haven't seen anybody and that has experts on there address that statement specifically. So is it possible? I'll give it fair enough. It's possible. I don't know enough about the multiple personalities, but could it change speech patterns? Could it change it the way it's written? I would have to presume it's a possibility. I don't know specifically, but from where I'm sitting, yeah, I mean, this is a great question that I think does deserve an answer, or at least a scrutiny. Somebody going and saying, could this person be of sick mind, maybe multiple personalities, and just address it. But so far, we haven't seen anybody address it. People with multiple personalities fight their minds all the same. It's not a movie. I agree with that. And I just talked to myself, nothing wrong with that. Wondering if you're trying to allude that you have... No, I'm just joking. Deanna says coffee when I have no Coke Zero. Coffee when I have no Coke Zero. We've got OG Jitterbug telling everybody, good morning, Betty. Coffee is my life. We have Veronica B. Truly. If you guys missed it, we sang her BHB happy birthday. Thank you for your love and your support. Love and pray to BHB and all the Coffee Bean families. We got a few gifted memberships here, so welcome to all of our new members. We appreciate you, and we appreciate all those that donated memberships. We've got hello, love you, Betty, chat mods, and the goat got goat in my service truck at work. Nice. No one has mentioned Grand Canyon. And you might have to send me a hello, bullhornbetty@gmail.com, what you mean by Grand Canyon, so I can look at that aspect. I'm running a blank on that. Thank you for all the prayers, and BHB, thank you, BHB, as well. Absolutely. Aletha, we hope your mommy gets better. Tell her we're giving her a bunch of hugs and loves. Thank you, Lori, so much. Ms. Sonia, a man in our town was arrested for shooting out the flock camera. People are raising money for his bail. Maybe we should jump on board with that. I absolutely... We're not playing with the flock cameras. This is mass surveillance of the American people, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, okay? I can tell you I was at a protest yesterday. Not one gangbanger there. Not one drug dealer there. Not one criminal there. Law-abiding citizens were there. How novel that law-abiding citizens still don't want to be surveilled by our government. Amazing. Hello, just because you are awesome. Well, I appreciate that hello. And it's not the family. Okay, great. Well, thank you for all the contributions today. One more thing before I leave. Miss Clancy is not Spider-Man. You sound like somebody I know at this point. You sound like somebody I know. Who are you? Hello. I feel like I know you. Like that last comment. There's something about that last comment that makes me think I know who you are. One more thing before I leave. Miss Clancy is not Spider-Man. Why do I feel like I know you? Like personally know you. Aletha gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. So whoever received, for all the new family members, thank you for the 3 beautiful people that gifted, because I'm a love machine. And for the new family members coming in, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard.
Summer is awful. There's wine helps me drink. All right! Bob's Burgers, fresh ground meat, great atmosphere.
Grade A ground meat, meaning we dropped it on the ground.
Louise.
Fine.
It's all fake news. It's
Yes.
phony stuff. It didn't happen. The news is fake.
All right, guys, you go have an amazing day. It is now time for Delilah's Playdate. Yay! All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Until next time, please be safe. She knows the outro. Did you hear those little feet? Did you hear those little feet? As soon as she hears me say it, she pops off the bed, starts walking down the stairs, and starts coming from one room to the other. And she's like, Mommy! And then she starts stretching. She's right here. She is right here. She's ready for her mommy back. All right, guys. You guys have an amazing day. Have a great Saturday. We'll see you soon.